Lot of corny, man. A lot of corny rappers, man. I'm just like, yo, man. I could name a list of 100 corny rappers, yo, right now. Man from New York. They ain't supposed to be rapping. I mean, who really like these? Who really like these? Tell me, I want to know somebody.
Then I met the devil in God's country. You know, and it's not so much who, it's what, you know, what happened.
The Hip Hop Task Force was created to watch Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, to watch the artists that was connected with P. Diddy.
Three conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make a fair decision, I think you have to be aware of both sides. And I was approached, so of course I had a conversation. It doesn't mean I rode with him
Sure.
or believed him. I just was able to recognize him by what he said to me and what he offered me. Say,
Every time a celeb dares to spill the real tea about the industry's dirty secrets, suddenly their voice disappears. Poof, gone. That's exactly what went down with DMX and Mobb Deep's Prodigy. These two weren't just ranting, they were exposing the real demons of the game. They straight up dropped names like Diddy and Jay-Z and called out the shady puppet masters pulling strings from the shadows.
It's a group that was formed like in the 1700s, something like that, 1600s. This dude named Adam Weishaupt, he started this group of people, like powerful, rich people that basically shape popular opinion and the way, you know, the world is gonna move forward.
And like clockwork, most of those bold interviews vanished, wiped clean off the internet like they never happened. Why? Because when you expose the kings of the castle bites back. DMX tried to warn us that this industry runs on control, fear, and manipulation. And the names that keep showing up in those whispers? Yep, Diddy and Jay-Z. Over and over again. Prodigy wasn't just rapping. He was out here dropping truth bombs.
The Hip Hop Task Force was created to watch Sean Puffy Combs, P. Diddy, to watch the artists that was connected with P. Diddy, and then it just grew. What they were doing was profiling black people that were making money in the music industry.
This man boldly called out the real shot callers. Not just in music, but in the whole system, media, politics, you name it. Of course, most of that footage is now magically missing. Like someone hit delete on purpose. But a few pieces survived the purge. So let's break down what DMX and Prodigy were actually trying to warn us about, and why certain folks would rather you stay clueless.
Committing any crimes. A lot of times people say, you're a conspiracy theorist, you watch too many movies or something like that, you know? But a lot of stuff I was learning was very real. And we're supposed to be out here like, you know, everything is fine, life goes on, but...
Let's kick things off with DMX and his no-filter warning about the devil lurking in the industry. In 2007, he hit HBO's Def Poetry Jam and dropped a fire poem called The Industry. He exposed how the game's rigged, how artists are pushed to either sell their soul or stay broke. No wonder they tried to bury that clip.
Street, man, it's not the same. Doesn't have to do with talent, it's about playing the game. The industry, real niggas is dying to get in. The industry, just to find they don't fit in. The industry ain't what it used to be. The industry's trying to control the way you MC. They want you to dress like this and talk like that. But I'm going dress like this and talk with the bat. The industry break you down, it's a matter of time. The industry, vultures with nothing to feast on. See me, I'm getting my beast on.
DMX wasn't just calling out bad deals. He believed this whole game was part of a spiritual battlefield. For real. In his music and interviews, he kept warning us about the devil's grip on the industry. And he didn't mean it metaphorically. According to X, there were real people tied to some dark energy, working behind the scenes to pressure artists into selling their souls.
I want to gain more. Whenever I went through something, it brought me closer to God. And I stayed into something. So now I'm closer to God. But being closer is hard. The attacks get stronger, become much harder to fight, and they last longer. But that's what it's always been. Joy with the pain, dark with the light, sun with the rain. But with the right perspective, there can be something to gain. Look for the good and the bad, not the sun when it...
Things got seriously creepy in 2013 when DMX told Dr. Phil on national television, no less, that he had 3 face-to-face encounters with the devil. Not 1. 3. He said you can't truly understand this world unless you see both sides, the light and the darkness, and then choose where you stand.
I think you've had
Three conversations with the devil.
3 conversations with the devil. Why with the devil?
Well, to make a fair decision, I think you have to be aware of both sides. And I was approached, so of course I had a conversation. It doesn't mean I rode with him or believed him. I just was able to recognize him by what he said to me and what he offered me.
And this wasn't even the first time he dropped that bomb. Back in 2009, during a jailhouse interview in Arizona, DMX said he met the devil in what he called God's country. He didn't say who or what exactly he saw, but his face said it all. Whatever it was, it messed him up. He swore he'd never step foot in that place again.
I remember one day coming from the studio at 6 o'clock in the morning and pulling over on the highway. We like 4 cars, just to watch the sunrise. And it was at that point that I fell in love with Arizona. I said, you know what, this has to be God's country. Because I'd never seen anything as beautiful as that sunrise. Then I met the devil in God's country. And it's not so much who, it's what, what happens and the things that the devil does. It's not so much a person, even though he acts through people. You can't call one person the devil.
Joe Arpaio?
You can't call any one person the devil. You can't do that because no one person has enough power to be the devil.
And let's not act like DMX kept it vague. He named names. Jay-Z and Diddy, 2 of the biggest untouchables in the game. In one old interview, he went full savage mode and accused Diddy of literally R-wording his artists. He didn't stutter. He also hinted that things behind the scenes at Bad Boy Records were way darker than anyone dared to admit. Some fans tried to play it safe, saying DMX was just talking about money and shady contracts. But let's be real, with everything that's now come out about Diddy, a whole lot of people think DMX meant it literally. And if that's the case, he was way ahead of his time. As for Jay-Z, DMX had smoke for him too. After Jay-Z took over Def Jam in 2004, DMX said Jay straight up blocked his album Year of the Dog again. Why? Because Jay unretired and didn't want the competition. Petty or power move? Either way, DMX made it clear. He felt sabotaged.
They already invested. What you mean they didn't want to invest? They already invested. Like I said, the album was recorded, shot the video, everything. That was just some bullshit. You know what that was.
Do you ever feel
Let's
like
get
people,
rid of the competition.
Do you ever feel like people at the label didn't do enough for you when they could tell that you really needed help? Or do you think that you were too far gone?
No, I was never too far gone. It just, all I needed was just do me like you do everybody else. You don't sit there and speculate about this and think about this and assume this. Just do me like you do everybody else, and it's gonna be all right, man. But that never happened.
Now, if we're being really real, whenever someone dares to call out Jay-Z and his elite connections, and then ends up dead under sketchy circumstances, Prodigy's name is always front and center. He didn't just whisper about the Illuminati, shouted it. And yeah, some people roll their eyes at that word, but Prodigy swore it was very real and way darker than the internet rabbit holes we joke about.
That I still had no fear in my heart, about speaking my mind and letting people know what time it is. There's no reason for me to fear because it's really nothing. There's nothing they can do besides kill me, and I'm not afraid of that.
Prodigy and Jay-Z? Oh, they had beef. The kind that started in the 90s and never really died. Jay claimed they made peace before Prodigy's death, but then came the jail letter. A leaked bombshell that suddenly went missing from every major platform. But if you're nosy enough to scroll through dusty old forums and sketchy blogs, it's still floating around. In that letter, Prodigy didn't hold anything back. He said Jay-Z knows exactly who's running the show behind the curtain and chose to play for their team. Instead of exposing the truth, Jay allegedly cozied up to the same dark powers for status and control. Prodigy wrote, "The government, religions, politics, the Federal Reserve, IRS, all of it is a joke. Jay-Z knows the truth, but chose evil just to fit in with corporate power. He hides the truth from the black community and promotes the beast's lifestyle instead."
It was interesting. You said Jay-Z knows the truth, but he chose sides with evil in order to be accepted in the corporate. Jay-Z conceals the truth from the black community and promotes the lifestyle of the beast instead.
Prodigy also promised, I will continue to relentlessly attack Jay-Z, the Illuminati, and every other evil that exists until my lights are put out. I fear nothing and no one, he added. I'm fearless because the truth has set me free from the Illuminati mental enslavement, and I have been empowered by God and the universe. Now, here's where it gets real spooky. Just 5 months before his death, Prodigy dropped his final album, Hegelian Dialectic, the Book of Revelation. And this wasn't just music, it was a full-on exposé. Secret societies, hidden agendas, the real puppet masters. He even had plans for a musical based on his Illuminati theories. Yeah, a musical. He was not playing. But then, out of nowhere, his life was cut short on the 20th of June, 2017. And here's where fans started raising eyebrows. Sure, Prodigy had sickle cell. So at first, everyone assumed it was complications. But then the coroner's report said he choked on a boiled egg in the hospital. A boiled egg! Are we seriously supposed to believe that? It got so shady that Prodigy's family sued the hospital Spring Valley Medical Center in Vegas. Why? Because they allegedly messed up his IV and ignored doctors' orders to monitor his oxygen. But here's the kicker. No one explained how a grown man chokes on an egg in a hospital, surrounded by staff. Fans never bought that egg story. Not then, not now. Plenty of people still believe Prodigy wasn't just another tragic loss. He was silenced. Why? Because he dug too deep and said too much, and the elite circle that names like Jay-Z and Diddy are always tied to. Now, step back and really look at it. DMX and Prodigy both dropped major names. They exposed the dark side of the game. They warned us about the puppeteers behind the fame. And guess what? Both of them ended up losing their lives in ways that just don't sit right. Coincidence? Or were they targeted for speaking too freely? So now the big question, was it all just bad luck? Or did they pay the ultimate price for getting too close to the truth? You tell me. Were DMX and Prodigy taken out for blowing the lid off the industry's darkest secrets? Or is this just another wild theory that's way too convincing to ignore? Let me know your thought in the comments section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. See you in the next video.